So you want to start a brand, but you don't know where to start. Well, you came to the right place. All right, guys, but in all seriousness, my name is Belv, and I would like to start off this video by telling you that my personal brand that I made with a friend of mine was not really that popular. So I am not going to try to come off like I know everything about starting a brand, but I do know the general basics, and I could tell you some trial and error that I went through so you guys don't have to make those same mistakes. So when you're starting a brand, the first thing you're going to need is your brand name. There's two things to take in consideration when you're thinking of your brand name. One, you want it to be good, and two, you want to make sure it's not taken. This is something you might want to sleep on for a couple weeks. You should sit down and write down 10, 20, 30, 40 names before you decide which one you want to go with. Then after you think you have about 10 solid names, your next step is you have to check the availability on those. That's where I myself ran into some issues. I thought I had about 5 really good names, and it ended up 4 of them were actually already taken. Some simple ways to check the availability on your name is just to go onto social media and type in those names and see if anybody is using them at this time. My brand, we were called Nostalgic Ways. So when I went onto social media and I typed in Nostalgic Ways, I was lucky enough to find that nobody even had anything close to it. It was completely unique and original. You also don't want your brand name to be extremely long. When it comes time to do printing and logo design, you don't want to have to try to make a logo based off of a 7-word title. So pretty much, just make sure that your brand name is the one that you want to go with and it is perfect. Run it past some family, run it past some friends, get some opinions, and make sure it's the one that you want to roll with. The next thing we're going to talk about is creating a logo. Along with your name, you want to make sure you have a really good eye-catching logo. Sometimes I see these new up-and-coming brands on Instagram, and they have a great name, and their logo is just junk. You want to make sure that your logo is brandable. People are going to want to wear it. Your logo is going to go onto your clothes. You're going to want to make sure people want to wear that logo. You want that logo to stand out. So here is the first logo that I created for my brand for Nostalgic Ways. Pretty simple, basic NW combined together, but it creates a good logo. It's very easily printable, very easily brandable. This logo that I'm showing you now actually didn't end up being the finalized logo for multiple reasons that I will get into later. But this was the first logo that I created. So some of you guys might be saying right now to yourselves, well, I'm not a good drawer. I don't have a good computer. I don't have good software. There's multiple ways to go around this. And I'm going to tell you about a few ways that you can make your first logo. So the first way you could do it is you could draw the logo up yourself. You could grab a pen and paper the old school way, draw something out, maybe be able to scan it onto your computer, have some sort of software to trace it. There's a lot of different free softwares that you can get. Me personally, I use Photoshop Elements. I think I bought Photoshop Elements for about $75. It was a one-time fee, and I use that for all my designing, and it's really good. It's really easy. You could also pay for Photoshop monthly on the Adobe website. I think it's like $30 a month. I know, some of you guys, you aren't going to have that kind of money to put out at first. Same with us. When we first started Nostalgic Ways, we didn't have a lot of money. I think we both put in like $100 or something like that. But eventually, you're going to need some sort of way to keep pumping out logos when you guys are creating. So you could let the business pay for something in the future. But right now, there's all different types of ways to go about it. Another thing you do is you could have somebody draw it for you. Whether you have a friend or a family member that is really good at drawing, they could draw something up for you. Or you could even go online and you could try to pay a graphic designer to do it, depending on what your budget is. Sometimes, they'll create 4 or 5 different things, and then you could choose which one you like. You pay a one-time fee, you have it. Or a couple times I've done this myself. I drew something out personally on paper, and then I scanned it onto my computer, and then I paid somebody to make me a vector file of the logo. Now, if you don't know what a vector file is, it's pretty much just a compressed... One second, let me Google it. What is a vector? Pretty much what a vector file is a very clean version of your drawing. You would use a vector file to send to somebody when you want to get your prints done. So you have a very clean image. Another way you could do things, which is another route that I've went down, but I really haven't had that much success doing it, is going on to Fiverr.com. For those of you guys who don't know what Fiverr is, it's pretty much a website where you can get many different types of services done for just $5. Fiverr has things like graphic design, digital marketing, video and animation, music and audio, and all these services are for around $5. Back in the day, it was really like around just $5 to do it. Now they have bigger packages that you can get into. That might cost a little bit more. You could definitely find somebody to make you some sort of logo on there for just around $5, which is awesome. But you might have some issues finding somebody that could really pinpoint what you want out of your logo, so it can get tough. You might want to pay somebody a little bit more money on Fiverr. You might, instead of spending $5, you might want to spend $30 on somebody who's got some really great reviews. Another thing that you can do with Fiverr is if you were to draw your logo with a pen and paper, you could scan that image onto your computer if you have a scanner, and you could send that image to somebody on Fiverr who could then professionally trace it for you and make a vector file out of it, and then you could send that file to whoever is going to be doing your printing, which is a route that I've taken myself many times. Another cool quick thing about Fiverr is you don't have to always go out and look for somebody to do the job for you. You could put your job out there, let everybody know what it is that you need, and people will send you offers and bid on your job, and you could go into their portfolio, see things that they've done in the past, see their ratings, and all sorts of things like that. I've taken that route as well, and it's worked out pretty well for me. The main thing I cannot exaggerate enough is your logo has to be simplistic, has to be somewhat basic. Lower amount of colors, the better. The reason most people don't realize this is because you haven't gotten to printing yet. If you look at my first logo here for Nostalgic Ways, it seems pretty clean, but in reality, it's actually not. If you look at the purple on the inside of the NW, it's really kind of choppy looking, which was what I was going for when I was creating my logo. But when it comes time for printing, it didn't come out too well. I went onto Teespring to get my first sample shirt. If you guys don't know what Teespring is, it's basically a website that will create clothes for you. You could take your image, put it on template of a shirt, and they will ship it and print it to you for, I believe it's like $15 or something. It was $5 to ship. For $20, I had my first sample in hands in the mail. I remember opening up the package and looking at it and was like, damn, this does not look good at all. I was very not aware of what I was doing at the time. I was new to everything. And I said, hey, I got my shirt. I don't think it came out that well. I don't know if there was a problem printing. And they're like, well, your logo was very choppy. It's not clean. Most people will send us some sort of PNG file or a vector file. I think it was just a JPEG that I dragged and dropped onto the t-shirt template on their website. They're like, you're going to have to get a cleaner image for printing if you want it to come out better. So it was my fault that it came out the way it did. So then my next step was I took this logo here, I went onto Fiverr, and I put up an ad saying, hey, listen, I have this logo. I don't want the logo to change, but I need somebody to simplify my logo and make it cleaner, maybe just 2 colors, 3 colors, because I still wanted the black and purple at least when it came time for printing. And I had a guy bid on it. I think he did it for about $5. He got back to me, he sent me the logo, and then this was the updated logo. So as you can see, there's actually 3 colors in here. There's 2 shades of purple and black. And this ended up being our main logo for the entire life of Nostalgic Ways. Now, the main thing you have to think about when you're doing printing, if you have 5 colors, you have to pay for all 5 of those colors to be printed. Most of the time, the cheapest way for you guys to go about doing your printing when you first start is doing screen printing. You have to realize for every color that you have in your image, that's a screen. The NW has, the darker shade of purple, the lighter shade of purple, and the black. There would be a screen for each one of those. That is, general labor for somebody who is creating the screens, which costs money. So, say we're going to put the NW on a shirt, just the NW logo, a big frontal NW logo put onto, say, this shirt, whatever. It costs $7 to make the shirt. You want to sell them for $15, you make $8, that's great. Now think about it this way. You have an image that has 5 colors. They're going to charge you more because you have more colors in your logo. It's pretty basic. Instead of, $7 for the shirt now that you have 5 colors, say you have to pay $11 for the shirt. And you're only selling the shirts for $15. You're making $4 profit when you could be getting the shirts for $7. And then you're making, $8 profit or whatever it is. You guys want to try to utilize to make as much money as possible at first, so you could keep investing that money back into your brand to just keep expanding, keep doing new things. Eventually, you might want to buy shorts, you might want to buy pins, you might want to, so you want to make sure you're making as much money as possible. So you want to utilize that your logo is simplistic and it could be printed for cheap. So now that we talked more about logo creation, the next thing I would like to talk about and just get right into is how you are actually going to have your clothes printed. There's pretty much 4 basic ways right now that people are getting clothes printed. You have screen printing for one. I suggest, at first you guys do as much screen printing as you possibly can. For the most part, it's really cheap. You guys can hit up any kind of local screen printers in your area. They should give you some good deals. You should have many in your area too. I know me personally, I live in a small area and I have 5, 6, 7 different screen printers around. When it came time for me to do my first screen print, I emailed everybody around and got price quotes from everybody. And to be honest, say for this logo, I believe we got them printed for at $5 a pop, but I had people that were saying $8 a pop. So you have to make sure you're getting all the quotes you possibly could, because some people might be outrageous and you don't know what's good and what's not good. So you have to make sure, you're getting the best deal you possibly could. The other thing is vinyl. Vinyl is good. Not too many people offer it. I suggest if you're going to get into vinyl, that would be something that you would do at your home. You would buy your own vinyl cutter, which, some of them are pretty cheap. You can get a Cricut or a Silhouette Cameo. I could put links for those in the bottom of the description for you guys if you'd like. Silhouette Cameo is actually what I personally used for a very long time. I believe it cost me like $200 to buy. If you guys would like, drop a comment below and I will do videos on how to use a vinyl cutter, how to use a Silhouette Cameo, whatever, how to start your brand using vinyl, because, it really was great for nostalgic ways. It helped us out a lot. Once we ended up getting the vinyl cutter, that's really when we just started mass producing clothes constantly. The third thing that you would use is sublimation. For those of you guys who don't know what sublimation is, this shirt I'm wearing here is sublimation. And they printed these shirts for us for, I believe it was $15 a piece. It's a full frontal image. It's kind of like a city themed. There's a guy walking with a boombox. So this was a really big seller for us. This one did really well. So, this is an example of sublimation. And then of course, you have embroidery, which is pretty self-explanatory. This hat here, this was one of our first hats that we've had done, and it's very, very basic NW embroidery on the hat. I believe we got these made for I think it was like $7 or something a pop, and we ordered like 30 at a time, and we ended up selling them for like 15 or whatever. Those are your 4 basic ways of printing, and I suggest you look more deeper into each of those, decide which one it is that you want to go with. I suggest screen printing. Get a very basic, cool design for your logo, for your brand, and just do a basic logo on the shirt. Pay to have 20 made. Do 5 small, 5 medium, 5 large, 5 XL. Get rid of them. Get money back. And then go out and double that. Do next time do 40 shirts. Have the business pay for you guys to continuously expand. Now let's just touch really quickly on all different types of blank clothing. So some people say, well, I don't really know what brand I should be putting my logo onto. There's all different kinds to choose from. You have something like Gildan, you have All Style, you have Bella Canvas. There's all different types of ways you can go about it. And really what it comes down to is trial and error. You're going to have to just try out which ones you like. I think All Style is like a really, really good one. That's one that we went with for a while. But when we first started, we were all about Gildan. It's cheap. For the most part, we were selling to friends and family at first. Nobody was going to really get upset about the quality, because in reality, it's not bad quality anyway. My only complaint about Gildan is that it does shrink a bit. Your main point of your first prints is exposure. You want to make shirts for cheap and just get them out. So the next thing we're going to talk about is, how you guys are going to start getting paid and how you guys are going to start doing your sales. Go to your bank where you have your checking or whatever it is, and you're going to have to open a bank account for your business. And, you're going to have to get a website as well. There's lots of different websites that you can go through. Things like Big Cartel, Shopify, GoDaddy. Most of these website builders, they have 2 different ways you can go about it. You have just a website, and then you have, a business website. I think the difference really is with the business website is you're going to be making sales, which is, very important for your brand, obviously. It comes down to how much you want to pay and what features you want. I believe we went through WordPress. And, the monthly fee might have been around $30 or something. So when you're first starting off, you might not want a fee like that. What I suggest is Big Cartel. It's $10 a month. You can have up to 25 items on there, which is great because you're not going to have 25 items at first, when you're first starting off your brand. And they have other great features on there too that, will help you get some kind of analytics for your website and see traffic, where people are coming from and all that. And the other thing I suggest is you purchase a URL. You can go right on Google, type in, purchase my website or whatever, my website domain. And it's so cheap. I believe it's like $10 to $20, I think. We might have paid $15. All right, guys, so the next thing you guys should be thinking about is how you want to get paid. You got PayPal, you got Square. I really suggest PayPal. PayPal is great. If you guys ever have any disputes, PayPal will always have your back. They'll help you figure things out. PayPal is like the safest way for your customers to also buy off of you. They could even link a credit card to their PayPal and purchase that way, which is awesome as well. You also have to try to figure out if you guys want to be a sole proprietorship or an LLC. I think when you're first starting off, a sole proprietorship is fine. You guys could Google a little bit more about the difference between an LLC and a sole proprietorship. So I think it's good to start off as a sole proprietorship, and then as you guys get more serious, you can move on to maybe becoming an LLC. And then you also want to look into maybe trademarking your logo as well, which is another thing that you could look into online. Also, you guys want to make sure you guys have a good location when it comes time to keeping track of your inventory. At first you're not going to have very much. You might do your 20 shirts and they ship out pretty quickly and you're not really having a lot of things sitting around. But eventually, you might have 100, 200, 500 shirts, whatever it is. And you need to keep everything organized and keep track of all the sizes of whatever you have left, because those numbers will be plugged into your website. And if things are all mixed up and out of order and it says, you have 64 small left and really, there's only 63 over in the inventory, and then it comes down to somebody purchases that shirt and then you go and you don't have it, that's an issue. It's not something you want to have to deal with. And also dealing with inventory, you want to make sure that you have all your shipping figured out. Now, shipping, it could get a little bit tricky sometimes, especially for people who have never shipped anything before. But for the most part, I suggest you guys get poly bags. This is an example of a poly bag here. I've been using these for a very long time. I also ship things on eBay, and I also suggest buying a scale. Scales make your life so much easier. If you're shipping a t-shirt might be 6 ounces. If you ship anything under, I believe, 13 ounces, it'll cost you roughly anywhere from $3 to $4 in that range at the post office. So 0 to 13 ounces is what you consider your first class shipping. And then after that, you're getting into priority mail. And the beautiful thing about priority mail is they have these things called flat rate boxes and flat rate envelopes. Here's an example of a flat rate box and a flat rate envelope. Pretty much the saying about the flat rate is if it fits, it ships. So, whatever you could fit into these boxes or these bags, it'll ship for one set price. I know for this bag personally, I use this bag all the time. I'll put a hoodie in this bag. I think it costs a little over $7 to ship. Or a bigger box, you could put a ton of things in there. If you're shipping 2 hoodies, 3 shirts, a pair of shorts, you put it in a flat rate box, it might cost you, $17 to ship this box. But if, you were to do each one of those individually, it would cost well over $17, and it would, you lose money on it. All those priority mail boxes and bags, they are free to get at the post office. I know my post office personally, they don't always have all flat rate priority poly bags and priority boxes in stock. So you could actually go onto USPS.com and you could make an account. Very easy, just a name and a password, and you could ask them to ship poly bags, the flat rate poly bags, and flat rate boxes to your house for free. It won't cost you a dime. I ordered 100 flat rate poly bags for free, and they delivered it right to my house. And it does take a little while, so if you are counting on using those, make sure you order them 2 to 3 weeks before you need them, because it does take some time for them to come into you. Those have saved my butt a lot, and they're really great. The whole fits it ships is a great thing, because sometimes shipping could cost a lot of money. One other cool thing I think you guys could do is when you're ordering your poly bags, I know us personally, we ordered purple poly bags because our main color was purple for Nostalgic Ways. And we also got some stickers made at one point. I think we got 100 stickers made for $15 off his website. I think it was stickerguy.com. And, cool way to personalize your package is you could slap a sticker from your brand on the package, have it be a certain color. I know, for us it was purple, like I said. So when people went to their mailbox, oh shit, there's a purple package there. That's awesome. I know I got my NW. They look at it, there's a sticker on it. It's dope. People appreciate that type of thing. I think it's a cool little way to personalize, your shipping, and, it makes it a little bit more fun for you. So in reality, this video is actually pretty much over now, but I would like to touch base on a few things on where I went wrong and made some stupid bonehead decisions, and maybe if I share them with you, you will avoid making the same decisions that I have. One, not having clean files for printing. There was a lot of times, I wasted time because the files that I had or the files that I made personally, they weren't clean. So when it came time to give them to the people that were printing for us, So you want to make sure your files are like nice and crisp for them to print. Two, the cost of some of the gear was too high, and which led to us having to charge more money for our items. And like, as you're first starting off, it's not really a great look to be selling your stuff for like a t-shirt for 20 to 25 to 30 bucks. You know, I understand you want to create that like entity around yourself. Like Supreme sells shirts for retail like 54 bucks. But like, you know, when you're first starting off, the main thing is you want people wearing your clothes. If I could go back in time and get a shirt made for $5 and sell them for, I mean, which we did do eventually. We got them made for $5 and we sold them for 10. Like, that's when we did the most in sales, and that's when we had the most exposure. The third thing, you have a drop April 15th, and then your next one is, you know, say it's going to be June. Make sure your stuff for June is done in April. Like, you want it done way ahead of time, and we didn't always do things that way. And it, you know, really pressed us at sometimes, and it made things really stressful, and we would get into fights and all that. The next thing is not using social media advertising enough. Guys, you can go on Instagram right now, and you could pay $2, and your image could be shown to like 2,000 people. People don't realize that. Like, you need to take advantage of social media marketing right now before it's gone. Like, there are so many people doing it now. Like, it's going to just be drowned out, and it's not going to be as good as it used to be. And we didn't take advantage of social media marketing like at all. The other thing is too, you guys, if you could start doing printing at your own house, whether you get your own screen printing press, you could buy a screen printing press on eBay for like a couple $100, like maybe like $200. I bought my screen printing press in the basement right now in my house for like $200. If you guys want to see videos on how I did that, I could show you that. Just let me know, comment below. The vinyl cutter I was using, if you guys want a video on that, I could show you guys a video on that as well. And also the main thing I'm going to say right now, be careful who you go into business with. I went into business with my best friend, and we just were on different levels with different things. And he had his opinion about this, I had my opinion about that. And we would fight to the point where it like literally ruined our relationship. And just be careful who you go into business with. You might think you know somebody, and then, you know, like, I'm not saying that my partner's a bad guy at all, because he's not. You know, it's just things are definitely different now after we did business together, because everybody has, you know, we have different friends and family minds, and then we have different business minds. You know what I mean? And when it comes to making money and having a business, you're very passionate about that. You should be passionate about that. So you're going to have your own beliefs, and, you know, your partner's going to have your own beliefs. But if you're going in by yourself, and that's great. But if you're going in with other people, you know, just make sure you guys, for the most part, agree on everything, because there's going to come times when you have disagreements, and you're going to have to just face them like a man in reality. You know, like, you're going to have to just sit down and talk about them and try to come to a conclusion, and you're going to have to give sometimes. You know, sometimes you're going to have to just give in, and at other times you're going to have to stand your ground if you feel really serious about it. But that's like a really big tip that I can give you guys, is just be careful who you go into business with, because if you already have your doubts, don't do it. Just don't do it. So I really appreciate you guys watching this video. Once again, my name is Belv, and I'm going to be putting up a lot more videos on this YouTube channel when it comes to branding. I'm going to show you guys how to do vinyl printing, how to do screen printing, you know, just simple things along those lines, maybe some basic logo design. If there's something that you want me to touch base on a little bit more, just drop a comment below. If you guys can, if you like this video, like it, subscribe. Like I said, I'm going to have a lot more coming. I'm going to put a lot of effort into YouTube. And thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys putting your time in to watch this video. Thank you very much. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks.